Hello everybody, today I have Paul Fowler with me. We are doing a Tale of Two Pilsners today. We each made a Pilsner with the same base malt and the same hops. We were aiming for the same gravity, but we'll get into that. The Pilsner on the table is Weyermann Barke Pils. I never used it. Have you ever used it?
Well, it's brand new.
It's brand new. So actually, it's kind of an old traditional one that is coming back, or I don't know all of the details, but I have some notes on that. So first of all, let's get some Pilsners poured, and then we'll taste them. Okay, so here are the two beers. Mine is on the left. Paul's is on the right. We were just talking about this, and I did use gelatin, and it has gotten clear. It's been in the keg 2 to 3 weeks. His is pretty clear, but not as clear. So, of course, it's different systems, but you could probably argue that the gelatin did help get it clear a little quicker. So, the recipe we did was aiming for around 1050. At least that was what we talked about, right?
Yep.
So, I used 10 pounds. Usually I get 5 points per pound. I would have gotten about 1050. However, this type of barley, it says it has excellent extract yield. So I ended up getting 1058 out of my 10 pounds, which was quite a bit higher. I mean, that was 10% or more higher than I expected. Now, what do you remember what your OG was?
It was about the same, 1058.
It was. I thought. Oh, then you diluted it.
I diluted it.
Oh, so that's interesting. So you also, did you get more yield out of it than you expected?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So there you go. I mean, that's this barley. Couple of notes on it. Let's see here. Good kernel homogeneity, good germination potential, superior diastatic power, excellent extract yield, high apparent attenuation. I found that with my beer. We both got down to 1.009.
Yeah.
Low, moderate levels of soluble nitrogen, low beta glucan levels. This makes it a particularly sought after base malt for pale ales and blonde lagers, especially for pilsners. Good body, rich, deep malt aroma, creamy head with good foam stability. Somebody described it as an old world pilsner malt style, kind of a throwback malt. That's kind of was my earlier comment. So I don't know if it is an older style or if it's just like an older style.
I think it's a heritage malt that they almost did away with.
Okay.
So when they kept it around.
Weyermann is bringing it back.
Yeah.
Therefore, Barke, as an all-time great in the history of barley varieties with its unique qualities, especially for artisanal beers, will continue to have a home in the portfolio of Weyermann specialty malts for years to come. So there you go.
Right.
So, how do they taste? Or smell, or look? Like I said, from the close-up, mine is a little clearer, but that could be from the gelatin. I mean, hopefully it is, right? Hopefully using gelatin does give you some benefit.
Yeah.
You get any noticeable aromas in either of them? I'm getting like maybe a little hop aroma in mine. Or is there some aroma in mine that I'm not getting in yours?
They're not huge.
No, they're not. Beep beep.
Hello.
That's the cat that was in the
Yeah.
white IPL. He must like hanging out. So mine has tiny bit of bitterness, but it does have that good, rich kind of malt character.
You can't really tell this is 8 points higher than this one though, at all. I mean, they drink the same to me. These are like damn near identical.
You know what though? My first sip of yours, it's a tiniest bit colder, but I think it has more bitterness.
Oh, you think so?
And I think it drinks a little quote unquote drier and thinner. But I think that all actually makes great sense. Because if you think about it, if I use the same amount of hops in a higher gravity wort,
You get less utilization.
although you
it was
also
high.
had the higher when you were boiling it.
Yeah, so I didn't change it until it was in the.
Do you notice anything like that in the between the two?
Bitterness, I didn't notice really any difference in bitterness. I get a little bit different aroma in yours. I mean, just a slight little difference, but they taste. I mean, you can't.
They
really
are
get
similar.
You can't really get much closer.
I suppose what you really do if you're doing a experiment is a triangle test.
Yep.
And we're not doing that. Spoiler alert. We could have, I guess, but then somebody would know, and so only one of us could do it, or we'd have to do it a couple of times. But do you like this malt?
Yeah, I'm gonna use it again.
Do you think that it's different in any way that in your memory compared to other Pilsner malts that you've used?
Well, I haven't used a ton of them, but yeah, it's right along those lines. You get a nice crackery type flavor out of it.
Yep, crackery, kind of, I don't know if biscuity or bready, or there's definitely a malt character. I do think yours, and it could be the diluting it from, so the OG was lower.
Mm-hmm.
It seems a little thinner, but it seems more like what a German Pils would be. You had the Bitburger next to it recently, and do you want to talk about that showdown?
Yeah, well, I did that last year with a different yeast, and last year's results and this year's results with a different yeast were really similar. Mine was lighter in color, and the Bitburger had more hop aroma, like in the nose, and then in the flavor too. But otherwise, taste-wise, between the two beers, they were very similar.
It's funny, yours would be lighter in color. I would think that the Bitburger would be about as light as you could get.
Yeah, I'm thinking they either use another malt in there, which I doubt. I'm thinking they're doing a decoction with it to get the color.
That could be. I did a German Pils a few years ago, and I did the same glass of my Pils and the Bitburger Pils.
Yeah.
And I have a picture on my Homebrew Log, and you could not tell them apart.
Wow.
And in color or clarity. And taste you could. Theirs seemed drier and more crisp. But, excuse me, they looked... So it's interesting that you're saying using 10 pounds of this malt made it lighter in color than the other, and then the Bitburger.
And same last year.
That was a few years ago too. Things could change. Well, anyway, I would recommend this malt if you like making these kinds of beers. It would probably be good in a Helles. I forget what I blonde lagers, I guess is what I think it said. But yeah, I'm digging it, and good job on the Pilsners. They're both good.
Both good.
And catch you guys later.